It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Nurin Razmyn. News making the headlines. SOSMA overhaul, Home Ministry proposes special court bail reforms to address legal challenges. And Trump says he will introduce 25% tariffs on autos, pharmaceuticals, and chips. Good morning. Malaysia and Bahrain are set to explore new areas of cooperation. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim met with his Bahraini counterpart Sheikh Salman Ahmad Al Khalifa, who is also the nation's crown prince, and discussed investments and trade opportunities, cooperation in the Islamic finance and banking sector, and tourism, among others.
Anwar was received by Bahrain's Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Latif Rashid Al Zaini, the Muharraq Governorate Deputy Governor Brigadier General Jasim Muhammad Al Ghattam, as well as the Ambassador of Bahrain to Malaysia, Dr. Walid Khalifa Al Mania. Anwar then had an audience with Salman at the Gudaybiyah Palace. During the hour-long meeting, both heads of state assessed the level of progress in bilateral relations between Malaysia and Bahrain, as well as the opportunity to explore new forms of cooperation. The two leaders also touched on regional issues, particularly the situation in the Middle East, especially in Palestine. And as part of Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship, Anwar also invited Prince Salman to Malaysia to attend the ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council Summit and the ASEAN GCC plus China Summit.
Earlier in his speech at the Intra-Islamic Dialogue Conference, IIDC, in Manama, Anwar called for all Muslim scholars and intellectuals to unite and address the issues of sectarian divisions by taking decisive steps to support Palestine and Syria. The Prime Minister stressed that exploiting sectarian differences only weakens political unity and prevents the necessary cooperation among Muslim nations.
The Muslim world must show solidarity and must commend King Hamad of Bahrain, who together with the Arab colleagues have shown this new spirit of unity which we in the far land, in the Ghuraba, would rejoice to see.
Anwar was the only head of government invited to speak at this conference. He added that the crisis faced by the Palestinians served as an example of the consequences of Islamic division and urged all Muslim nations to offer support in various forms.
We need to showcase the ability for the Ummah to convey the sense and the spirit of humanity, compassion, transcending religions and nations.
Anwar also called for collective action from the Muslim world to support a better future for Syria. The initial signs of peace and efforts to rebuild the country not only give hope to the Syrian people, but also present opportunities for the entire Muslim Ummah.
During his official visit to Bahrain, Anwar also had an audience with His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia. Also present was Raja Permaisuri Agong, Raja Zarith Sofia. Anwar expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to update the King on national matters and to inquire about His Majesty's health following recent medical treatment. The meeting took place in Bahrain, where Anwar is making his first official visit at the invitation of Crown Prince and Prime Minister Sheikh Salman Ahmad Al Khalifa. The Home Minister said on Wednesday that amendments to the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 SOSMA aim to balance national security needs with individual fundamental rights. Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said to achieve that objective, the amendments will introduce three key directions: establishing a special court, granting bail for certain offences, and shortening the detention period.
The dedicated court will be similar to the special courts for corruption cases, undocumented migrants, child sexual offences, the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act, environmental crimes, and cyber crimes. The review will evaluate SOSMA's 28-day detention provision, including the possibility of dividing the period into shorter phases. The review will also cover Section 30, which mandates that individuals acquitted of SOSMA offences remain in custody custody pending an appeal. Apart from the special court, the government will review the list or schedule of offences classified as non-bailable, as well as offences where bail may be granted at the court's discretion, depending on the severity or gravity of the offence.
Saya akan segera mengumumkan untuk pembentukan sebuah jawatan kuasa khas bagi kali ini, bukan lagi libat urus biasa yang telah pun menghasilkan 3-4 cadangan untuk menambah baik, tapi jawatan kuasa ini khusus untuk memperhalusi cadangan.
The Home Minister said this in his ministerial statement in the Dewan Rakyat. SOSMA was introduced in 2012 following the repeal of the Internal Security Act in the same year. SOSMA grants police the authority to arrest and detain individuals suspected of being involved in security offences without a warrant.
The Human Rights Commission of Malaysia, Suhakam, in welcoming the move to amend SOSMA, said it is a step forward in the right direction, especially on shortening the detention period.
We do welcome if the Minister would like to amend certain provisions of SOSMA, in particular making it in line with maybe Criminal Procedure Code and also the CPC. Yeah? And this, I think, will be able to determine bailable, non-bailable offences. And if a person is under SOSMA is bailable, then we might as well charge that person under the penal code if the offence fit some of the provisions in the penal code.
After declaring war on sugar, smoking and salt, Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad has now waged a new war, and that is against stigmatization to combat the rising mental health burden. A campaign to educate the public and shift negative perceptions about mental health issues is said to be launched with its objective, Stop the Stigma, Mental Health is for Everyone.
According to Dr. Zulkifli, mental health patients often face stigma and discrimination, which leads such individuals to hesitate or delay seeking the professional help they need. The health minister emphasized that the perception must change immediately and that the time has come to encourage more people to seek the treatment they deserve. Data shows that mental health issues contribute to a global economic productivity loss of up to 4.4 trillion ringgit annually due to workplace absenteeism and reduced workforce efficiency. In Malaysia, the growing mental health burden is alarming, with the 2023 National Health and Morbidity Survey revealing that 1 million Malaysians aged 16 and above suffer from depression.
The Health Ministry's call to combat the stigma around mental health is a first big step in addressing the issue. And to ensure the initiative's success, the Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, MIASA, believes that funding should be allocated to community-level groups.
Funds must come in so that there is continuity of funds. There are unrestricted funds that are available because NGOs, social enterprises, civil society organizations, be it the women movement, whatever movements that are out there are keen and want to help, but we don't necessarily have the funds to move the work.
Commenting on the leprosy outbreak in 2 Orang Asli villages in Kuala Pilah, Negeri Sembilan, Dr. Zulkifli stressed that it was an isolated case. He also urged Malaysians not to be anxious about the outbreak, stressing that it was not widespread. While the ministry is continuing to probe into the case, it said it was viewing the matter as one of utmost urgency. So far, an 18-year-old Orang Asli girl has died after suffering from a fever for a week, while 8 others have contracted the disease since January 2nd. Kampung Cirgun and Kampung Guntur have since been placed under quarantine by health authorities. Meanwhile, Negeri Sembilan Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun said the state government has asked for the Jeram Tenkek Forest Eco Park located near the village to be closed temporarily in the view of the leprosy cases. The number of leprosy cases reported in the country in 2021 was 142. This increased to 183 in 2022 and 256 in 2023. Malaysia will join the list of countries that have introduced dedicated legislation protecting gig workers should the Gig Workers Bill 2025 be passed this year. Human Resources Minister Stephen Sim Chi Kyong said only 15 countries have implemented similar laws, and the bill is expected to provide stronger protection for the workers in the sector.
Saya bawa masuk kabinet selepas saya bincang dengan kalian untuk dapatkan kelulusan terakhir undang-undang ini, kemudian saya boleh bentangkan di Parlimen dalam masa mungkin 2 minggu dari sekarang.
Sim was speaking at a town hall session with stakeholders and industry players on the draft Gig Workers Bill 2025 in the federal capital on Wednesday. He highlighted 4 key aspects of the bill, including the introduction of an official definition for gig workers, which is currently absent from the Employment Act. A mechanism for resolving disputes between gig workers and platform providers will be established. It will also incorporate safety protections such as mandatory contributions to Social Security Organization SOCSO. The bill has been under discussion since 2019. Malaysians withdrew 12.07 billion ringgit from their EPF flexible accounts till December 31st last year. Second Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan stated that the withdrawals involve 4.11 million members, which represent 31.1% of the total 13.2 million EPF members under the age of 55.
Pengenalan akaun fleksibel ini dilihat dapat meningkatkan aliran tunai ahli ketika keadaan mendesak dan cadangan pengeluaran KWSP secara bersasar tidak lagi relevan untuk diperkenalkan buat masa ini, memandangkan ahli boleh membuat pengeluaran melalui akaun fleksibel.
With such measures, the government aims to ensure that EPF members can manage their finances effectively, building financial resilience in an ever-changing and challenging environment. The flexible account was introduced to assist members in managing short-term financial needs, allowing withdrawals at any time for any purpose, particularly in emergencies. The Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, FMM, said it remains committed to enhancing environmental, social and governance (ESG) practices in Malaysia despite concerns over the policies of Donald Trump's administration. Acknowledging that U.S. policy shifts may have some influence over ESG developments, FMM Vice President Jacob Lee noted that other regions, including the European Union (EU), remain committed to ESG progress through initiatives like the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism.
Climate is not just on the challenges for the trade, it is also for human survivability. If you look at Malaysia, we can see the impacts of extreme weathers, where there's so much of rampant flood.
Lee stated that FMM remains cautiously optimistic about the manufacturing sector in 2025 despite Trump's return to office, noting that Malaysia's role as ASEAN chair this year should encourage more investment and business activities. U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday said he intends to impose 25% tariffs on autos, semiconductors, and pharmaceutical imports, the latest in a series of measures threatening to upend international trade. Trump said levies on automobiles would come as soon as April 2nd. He also said sectorial tariffs on pharmaceuticals and semiconductor chips would start at 25% or higher. However, he did not fix a date to announce those duties and said he wanted to provide some time for drugs and chip makers to set up U.S. factories. Groundbreaking research from UK universities has been driving innovation across Malaysia. These partnerships are not only advancing technology but also strengthening economic ties between the two nations. Let's take a look as I go in depth on how these collaborations are proving to be essential for Malaysia's future.
UK-driven educational research is fostering key advancements in technology, skills and development within Malaysian industries. Through collaborative partnerships and the exchange of knowledge, these innovations are driving growth in multiple different sectors. This evolving relationship is playing a pivotal role in enhancing Malaysia's competitive edge in the global market. From cutting-edge technology to workforce development, UK universities are working hand-in-hand with Malaysian institutions to tackle some of the country's most pressing challenges. These collaborations go beyond research. They are helping to train the next generation of industry leaders and early career researchers, ensuring that Malaysia remains at the forefront of global innovation.
The module is very consistent in terms of the subject matter is very related to the industry that we're doing, and it really prepares us for the workforce, and it's just helped me develop a lot of skills.
UK universities are known for their research-based learning, which allows me to gain both theoretical and practical knowledge. The diverse and international environment is also a plus because I get to meet people from different backgrounds.
One of the key aspects of this partnership is skills development. By integrating UK expertise with Malaysia's industry needs, universities are helping to create a highly skilled workforce prepared for the future.
I think the key here is UK universities working together with Malaysian universities and industry to look at what are some of the local and regional and also global challenges in terms of looking at how we nurture our talents, how we work to train our early career researchers.
For example, as the global push for sustainability accelerates, Malaysia is also looking to transform one of its largest industries, palm oil, into a model for green innovation. Researchers from London are now pioneering sustainable palm oil waste conversion techniques, turning agricultural byproducts into biofuels. And with Malaysia's palm oil industry valued at over $20 billion, this technology has the potential to revolutionize the sector.
It's a collaboration to understand the evolving landscape. It's also a collaboration to understand the needs of the particular country.
By integrating world-class expertise with local industry needs, Malaysia is strengthening its position as a hub for innovation, sustainability, and economic growth. And as these partnerships continue to expand, they will play a vital role in driving Malaysia's future development, ensuring that research, technology, and education remain at the heart of the country's progress. Nurin, Razmyn for Nightline, TV3.
Hamas ready to free hostages in one go. The details when Nightline returns. On to the foreign front. Palestinian group Hamas on Wednesday has proposed to release all captives remaining in the Gaza Strip in one go in exchange for a lasting truce and a complete Zionist army withdrawal from the besieged enclave. In a statement, the group outlined its vision for the second phase of the ceasefire deal, which includes the proposed exchange. It said they were ready for a second phase in which the prisoners will be exchanged in one go within the criterion of reaching an agreement that leads to a permanent ceasefire and a complete withdrawal from the Strip. The group, however, rejected Israel's call for its disarmament and removal from the Strip. It called the condition of removing Hamas from the Gaza Strip as a ridiculous psychological war. In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump announced 3 new actions in his administration is taking, one seeking to increase access to its vitro fertilization, IVF, and 2 focus on transparency and accountability within the federal government.
The executive order on IVF signed on Tuesday specifically looks to make such treatments more widely available to American families, in part by making them more affordable. Trump also signed one order seeking to give the Office of the President stronger oversight of actions taken by agencies, while the third action was a memorandum that requires department and agency heads to make public to the maximum extent permitted by law the complete details of every terminated program, cancelled contract, terminated grant, or any other discontinued obligation of federal funds. The two moves come as the Trump administration's wide-scale campaign to shrink the size of the federal government comes under fire from critics about a lack of transparency as it sweeps through agencies enacting massive layoffs and seeking access to data.
Officials in Egypt said they have unearthed the resting place of King Thutmose II, marking the very first major discovery in a century.
Egyptian archaeologists, alongside British experts, discovered the latest ancient tomb on Tuesday in the Mount of Thebes area west of Luxor in the renowned Valley of the Kings. According to officials, artifacts discovered inside the tomb, including fragments of alabaster jars, bore inscriptions with the names of Thutmose II and his principal wife, providing definitive evidence of the tomb's ownership. The approximately 3,500-year-old tomb is one of the most significant finds in Egypt since 1922.
And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton appears in Ferrari red for the first time outside of Italy as Formula One put on an unprecedented and spectacular 10-team season launch in front of 15,000 fans. With that, I'm Nurin Razmyn. Thank you for watching and stay safe.